This is a beginner's guide for the Sons of the Forest. I'm going to get you through all the basics so you can play the game more comfortably and learn at your own pace. So there's a few basics that you need to learn before this game is like even possible to play. So obviously at the bottom right you see the food, there's water, there's sleep, and there's all the stuff to deal with. There's stamina, which is the blue bar around the compass, and the red bar around the compass is your HP. Now, your first thing that you're going to need to know how to do really is get food and make shelter and drink water. So, the very, very first thing you should do is hit escape and go to the options, go to your controls, and in my opinion, at least, you should go to the inventory right here and change this to tab. It defaults to I, which is super annoying to have to press. Okay. So anyway, once you have that set up, then you're going to press tab, or if you left it on default, press I, whatever, open up your inventory, and you're going to want to go to your GPS, and by default, it's going to be left click to equip it. Now, once you have this out, you can middle mouse wheel, like press the middle mouse wheel to zoom it out and zoom it in, or just zoom it in cycles, really. And so one of the first things you need to know about are these icons. So the little green icons are little stashes of random items and stuff. And then the, you'll see I'm pointing at one over by the coast. There's like a cave-looking icon. It'll just be a little nest of like the mutant things that try to kill you. And there'll be a cave there. And then the purple ones are going to be like, for example, there was a guy who hung himself and there was tons of loot around and stuff. Some kind of unique things like that. So there's more ways to get resources and unique resources. That's why I got a flashlight, for example, is from the one I'm facing right now on the compass. Also, you can see the day and the time on the GPS tracker. Okay. So the reason I'm showing the GPS tracker is you'll always, not always, but at the beginning, it's best to build a base next to water. You do not want to have to just go running in order to get water in the beginning. So like I started a base here, but this was not actually a good idea. So I'm actually going to head over to that lake over there and build a base over there. Now, another thing to know about is to put away the utility item, which is your left-handed item. There's a key for it that for me, for some reason, was not bound by default. So if you go through here, there's utility. I just set it to U. I should have set it to something else. I didn't really think about it, but whatever. It's such an uncommon thing for me to press. So I press U and it puts it away. Also, to take this apart, like you have a tent or something like that, you can, there's another key that defaults to C, which is dismantle. And you'll hold that down in order to dismantle your tent and get your tarp back. And then by default, you'll press the letter G in order to put away. Though if you change it, you could change it. And you can also hold that same button C by default to dismantle different things that you've built and set them back down. We'll get to more of that building stuff in a minute. Also to know, while you're going, you can find items like blueberries and different flowers and things on the way. Make sure to pick up sticks so that you can have a full inventory of sticks. So down here at the bottom right, you don't have full inventory, but just to make sure you have some sticks because you'll probably need them, start fires and things. So just go ahead and pick things up while you're traveling on your way to water, wherever you're going. Also, it's usually best when running around to have some kind of weapon in your hand. So I usually equip in the beginning, at least, the tactical axe. And then I can hold the compass in my left hand, have the axe in my right hand, just so if I run into one of the mutant things, I can immediately start swinging and defend myself and not to try to awkwardly open up my inventory right in front of them. So over here is a source of water. Now, the reason this is so important is because you'll need to drink water every day. So you just go over to it and press whatever default key. E is a default key, so whatever you have it set to in order to drink water. It just takes 2 cycles by default to get filled up on water. All right, so now water's filled. And as water and hunger fill up, the stamina bar at the bottom right, the blue bar, gets bigger and bigger. So if you're out of stamina, or if you're out of water and out of food and sleepy, tired, then your bar is going to be very small and you'll barely be able to do anything before you're exhausted and need a rest for a moment. Okay, so food. Easiest food in the game is pull out the axe like we already showed you, and see these squirrels? You just run them down. And if you can, I don't think I lost this one, you're just going to chop them once. Now, I messed it up, unfortunately. Maybe I can still catch him, but it gets hard once you chase them into the bushes like this. There we go. So I got the squirrel. And then default key, if you have a knife, will be E. And so you hold that, and then you'll butcher a squirrel. Now, squirrel's not the only source of food. Another good source of food are those zombies that try to kill you, which I'll show you in just a moment. Okay, so now we have some food. So what we're going to do... Let's get more food, actually, because why not? It was right there. You can eat this raw, but you don't want to eat this raw, realistically, because raw food does not give very much food. So what you're going to do is grab some sticks, which I already have a bunch, and you're also going to slash at some bushes to collect some leaves. Also, I talked about those enemies, and these guys are not that dangerous. You can usually kill them with an axe, but the problem is when there's a lot of them, because they'll come and swipe at you while you're fighting another one. Now, normally you can just beat one down pretty easily. You just run at it and start swinging, but if the other ones come to help, you can get in some serious trouble. Okay, so that one's dead, and then I would just make sure I'm clear to not get attacked by another one. And then just go ahead and beat on it. Now, this is going to be a lot harder when your stamina is low. And also, it's very easy to lose track of them during a melee combat. Now, these guys are actually the greatest benefit you can have in this game because they are also free food. And I'll show you in a second after I beat this one down again. Okay. Now, assuming the last one, wherever he is... Oh, no, he's right here. Okay. Also, your health. So, see how my health is low now? If I just do nothing for a little bit, it'll come back up some. So, I don't have to... You know, if you're low, just run until it comes back and then go back to fighting. Now, here's a really cool trick. So, the dead zombie things, whatever these are, mutants, if you just chop at them, at their joints and stuff, you can actually cut off limbs. And this is actually so important at the beginning of the game to get food. So, you can cut off a limb... And then you can just tap the interact button to pick it up, and then it'll be in your inventory, or you just hold the button and it'll eat it. So I actually have one from earlier that's rotten now, but here's a raw leg. So I can eat it from here with right click, or when I go to pick it up originally, I can hold the interact key, and I'll go straight for eating it. Now, I don't know if there's food poisoning in this game, but I've never gotten it. I've eaten like 10, 20 legs now, so yeah, that seemed fine. But the other thing is you really shouldn't eat it, because you saw at my bottom right, my hunger bar. Like in an emergency, yeah, sure. But it gives so little food compared to if you cook it. So now let me talk about cooking. And also, sometimes these guys drop these skin pouches, which are also super helpful. So you pick one up and go to your inventory. And in order to open it, they'll be down here. And you left or right click it, I mean. And then you need to right click on the cogwheel in order to open it. And inside of these will be random resources that can help you out. So this one had a cloth. And it had a watch, some meds, and some berries. So, yeah, that's the one way to slowly get resources is by eating those guys. Those guys are honestly the biggest benefit in this game is all those little guys that try to run around and kill you. They're super useful. Okay, so in order to start a fire, we're going to need, like I talked about, we're going to need some of those leaves, and we're going to need to find a few twigs that I've already picked up. So, you go to your inventory, you can take the stick, and you can equip it, and then you can look at the ground, and then you can... right click to change the mode. So this one's going to plant the stick in the ground, the little circle, but this one's going to plant them in the ground, like just break it over your leg and throw it down. It's going to do it twice, and then it'll give you the option to light it. And that's how you start up a fire, if you have leaves in your inventory to start the fire with. So now I'm going to put this stick away, because I don't need it. And be careful not to step in the fire, because you will catch on fire, and that will do some damage. Hold on, I got to deal with another one of these guys. Okay, so now in order to cook things, what you need to do is you need to go to your inventory and say that leg that we picked up, I can equip it. So you're going to equip it, and then you're going to head over to the fire, and it'll give you an interact button. You're going to hold that interact button. Actually, you don't need to equip it, actually, I forgot. You don't equip it. You just hold the interact button by the thing, and it'll give you options of things to put on to cook. So then you do that, close this, and then just wait. And at a certain point, it will eventually be done cooking. And it'll be pretty obvious when it's done cooking. It'll look cooked. And you can do the same thing for the meat from the squirrels that you found. You can do this to cook any kind of meat substance. And then once you do, the amount of food that it gives you will be significantly higher. It's like what you need to do in order to actually keep up with food. Otherwise, you'll find yourself literally constantly eating things and never getting anywhere on food. It'll be miserable. Okay, so the cooking is now complete. You just press E to pick it up, or you hold E to eat it right then. So now you'll see this cooked one. If I eat this, so I can right-click to eat it. If you watch my food bar at the bottom right, the cooked one gave half of my food. So it went from, instead of giving like an 1/8 or 1/10 or whatever, it actually gives like over half. So that is the biggest thing that you need to know in this game. Like without that, life just sucks. So that's how to stay alive. And then the sleeping thing, you need a tent. So in order to do the tent, you go to your inventory again, and you grab a tarp if you have one, and equip it. And then you just look at the ground, and it'll give you this like square, and you just left click, and it'll throw it down. Then what you're gonna do is you're going to equip a stick and look at one of the corners, and it'll give this arrow, and you left click, and you'll put the stick under the corner, and now you have a tent. Here you can hold E to save, and then also you can hold Z in order to sleep. So that's how to do shelter. Now, not really shelter. That's how to do a tent, how to sleep, and whatever, save. But to build a shelter is a totally different thing. Now there's building. So actually, really quick before building, something I really needed to talk about is we have our one friend, if you noticed, and if you didn't get him at the very beginning of the game after the helicopter crash, he was right nearby. So if you didn't help him right then you need to go back and go get him. But this guy, Calvin, you can hold E to interact with him, and he can do a lot of helpful stuff. You tell him to follow, you can tell him to get sticks or rocks or logs or berries or whatever's nearby. It just depends on what these options are here is based on what's nearby. And then you could do that and then give it to me or drop it here. You can slowly collect resources. That's super helpful. Or just have him follow you, or have him take an item from your inventory, or, you know, clear everything around him, take a break, stay here, you know, build. And the only option right here right now is fire, but, you know, there's other options depending on what's available. So that's how to interact with him. If you put him on stay and the zombies scare him off, you'll have to go retrieve him, which is super annoying. But you can see him on your GPS. He's the K icon. So, yeah, just that's how that guy works. Keep that in mind. He's super, super useful. And if you're wondering, you cannot equip weapons to him. He's pretty much purely a pacifist. So, yeah, keep that in mind when trying to work with him. All right, so now in order to build, the basics of building are just wood. So what you're going to do is equip your axe, and you're going to start chopping out a tree. And after enough chops, it will chop the tree down, and it'll generate a bunch of logs. Similar to how Valheim works, if you've ever played Valheim. So let me finish chopping this one down. Also, if the tree falls on a pre-existing building, it'll damage the building, I found out. So keep that in mind. So it'll drop these things, and there's a few things to do with this. So first off, if you see those red lines, I can cut the log long ways. I can cut it down the middle. I can cut it into thirds. I can cut it in half, you know, all sorts of stuff. What the hell is this? Look at that. Oh, well, it was a distraction is what it was. Anyway, or you just pick them up, and then you'll see a dotted line icon on the ground to build when you look at the ground. Although I don't know, it's not. There we go. So I, for example, am going to build one around my tent and my fire if I was going to freeform. So you would do that, and then you would grab... Hold on, I got to kill this guy. And then I would grab another one. Okay. I would grab another one, and then go over. And now here are the options for building. So you can attach to the end, and you can make it go straight up, or you can face it in any of the three directions from the end. So in this case, I'm just going to place it like that. Or I could have... Oh, I just got to kill now. There's so many of these things around. Okay. Or if I want, I could have set it upright like this. Or depending on how I cut it, I can, you know, build a whole bunch of different things. I can make planks. I can cut it in half. I can just left click right here to cut it in half while it's already up like that. And then I could, you know, put another one, like right here, for example. Oh, that didn't. Okay, that was not what I thought that was going to do. Well, either way, there's lots of things you can do with freeform. That's like the, you know, just play around with freeform and figure out the different way to connect things and stuff and build things. But now there's more than just freeform. There's also set buildings, which are super helpful. God, these guys will just leave me alone for a second. Okay, well, they definitely made that easier for me, though. I just caught myself on fire. Here's what I was talking about, catching myself on fire. I don't know if it goes out on its own, actually, but I'm going to jump in the water. So in order to do the freeform building, or not freeform building, the set building. Oh, my God, so many of those guys. All right. In order to do the actual set building, you can go to your inventory. There's two ways to do this. You can go to your inventory, and you can find your guidebook right here in the corner. Equip this thing, and then it'll let you see all sorts of structures that you can build, and there's two modes to it. Now, by default, the letter B for building, like B as in building, is the button to bring it up. So once you have it up, bring it back up. All right. There's all this basic stuff where you can go, you know, there's tent, how to make a fire, how to make stick structures, how to make floors, and how to make stairs, which are like the basic things. You also have, and then you can click here to get a few more additional options in some of these categories. In order, so like I can go to, let me go back here. So if I go to this one, stick structures, and then go to reinforced structures, it'll have tons. I can go through more than just this. There's fence, there's floor, there's wall, there's door, there's window, single step, etc. And all these things will let you do whatever you want. So like, let me go to wall, for example. And then I have to do what it says in order in this one. This one doesn't really have a way for you to just auto build. So this is just telling you how these structures are made, how you would do them by putting piece, then piece, then piece type of thing. And so the way to actually make a real blueprint, though, is there's this button here that says switch mode. So you switch mode, which is X by default, which is some reason not wanting to do anything right now. Okay, so you hold X in order to do it. I don't know why it was bugged out, but now it's working. So you hold X in order to do it, and it'll go to these advanced ones, which will give you a whole thing to build. So, for example, one of the easier ones, you can do a tree platform and stuff, but you need stairs. The easiest one to do would probably be a log cabin or a hunting shelter. If you want to feel safe, though, a log cabin. And then you'll look, and it'll give you instructions like this, and then you'll just left-click, and then it sets up this blueprint for you. Now what you can do is you can grab those, I don't know why I can't pick these back up. There we go. Grab those sticks that you have, or logs, I mean, and go over to it and press E. And it will just automatically put them in the right places. And you'll just keep going and getting logs, or getting whatever it asks for. You go back and look, it's like, okay, I need 45 logs right out of the gate. All right, so now you're going to chop down trees, and you're going to get 45 logs, just one by one by one, bring them back and put them in. And this is like the no-brainer way to just build something without having to think. It'll just tell you what you need, and then you'll go get it. And it'll have you, you'll have to do the things like cutting them in half, cutting with 3/4, making planks, etc. And then, submitting it to the blueprint. But that's like the easy way to build stuff. That's also the way to build some stuff that you otherwise would not be able to build. So, for example, okay, let me put this in there real fast. All right, so I can go back to the build menu, and we have lots of cool things in here. We have the gardening. So I can make a standing planter or a wall planter. So standing planter, and then let's just throw that down right here. And then we'll add sticks. I actually have a ton of sticks in my inventory, so I can probably just build this right now. And then I can grow things. So here I have seeds. So when I went out and I was gathering berries, when you gather blueberries or salmon berries or whatever, they also sometimes drop seeds. So I can drop some blueberries in there, and now I'm growing a blueberry plant in my standing planter. So that's like another thing about how building and stuff works. Make some food and stuff and different things. Another helpful one to build is going to be traps. And you can make a small animal trap, which will be really nice. Catch like a rabbit or something. And then just the same thing, you just add a bunch of sticks. Now, if you're out of sticks, you're going to have to go off and go forage for sticks on the ground. But either way, that sticks. Now, also, this thing right here, you pick up one of those, the yellow flower, and then you'll have new crafting recipes with an energy thing, energy mix. But, which brings me to another thing. Crafting. We got crafting in our inventory. Now, this one's a little confusing because it doesn't show you all the options when you mouse over this. But what you can do is you can pick something like... Actually, I don't have a stick right now. Let me grab a stick. Okay, there we go. Grab these sticks. All right. So I can go in my inventory, and now that I have sticks, it shows more options. And also what I can do is I can right-click to combine with a stick, and then mouse over it, and it'll show me all the things I can make with a stick. So you can see through here, if I want to make a bow, I could add rope, and I could add duct tape, and then I could make a bow. If I wanted a club, I would have to go get a skull, which I can do by burning the corpse of one of those, monkey mutant-looking things. Stone arrows, I need a certain type of leaf. I need 4 small rocks, 2 sticks. Torches, I need a piece of cloth and a stick. So you just add these other things. So I would add the duct tape. I'd add the rope. And then I also need 1 more stick, I think. And then it makes that noise, and that's how you know you're ready to make the bow. And then you would just right-click to combine. I don't want to actually make a bow right now, but yeah, that's how you craft things. You can also take it off and then look again at what else there is. So I could add the knife, and then I could add another stick, and this will make a spear. But I don't really want to make the spear right this second. So that's the crafting and stuff. So that's how you do all that. So hopefully that one will help you out. You definitely know how to do that in the beginning as well. And then from this point, I think you're probably good to go. Like, this is just a beginner's guide. So, if you learned everything I just showed you, then you're ready to go. You can feed yourself. You can get water. You know how to build all the structures. You know how to gather things, put things together, how to craft things in your inventory, how to find new things, how to explore with the GPS, and how to zoom it in and out, find all the new stuff, explore the island and stuff, and, start your progression and beating the game and stuff. So, also be aware of other strong enemies. This one will show up with, like, a club. Best thing to do is try to beat them with bow and arrows if you have them. because he does an insane amount of damage. Sometimes when you get knocked down, instead of dying, they'll just like tie you up and you can escape instead of just dying, or you'll just die and you'll have to load your game. So save, you know, relatively often. And also consider making a few different save files on single player if you're playing on single player. If you're playing on multiplayer, obviously it's different. But yeah. So that's the basics, guys. I hope that helps you out, guys. This has been my beginner's guide for the Sons of the Forest. Hopefully now you have a better idea of how to play this game. Also, if this video helped you, check out the description of this video for other helpful links. And also, if you want to help me, check out the link in the description for Art Gallery Simulator, a game that I'm making on Steam. If you go and check it out and wishlist it, that would help me out a lot. But anyway, guys, that's it for me. That's it for this beginner's guide. I hope this helped you out. Now you know how to do all the basics in the Sons of the Forest.